Blessings, everyone. It's been such a long time since I got to sit down and make a podcast, since I've been so busy with school. But in this episode, I want to talk about the hijab and why it kind of is so hard to wear and what we can do to make this route easy for us. Whether or not you like it, the hijab is mandatory, and this is something that us girls don't really like to hear sometimes because it makes our heart feel kind of heavy. And then, the hijab has always been this concept of burden among the Muslim women because it's such a hardship to wear sometimes because of how people will treat you and all the things that girls go through just to wear it. So I do want to share a few facts in the way that I was able to overcome like a negative feeling around it, and moreover loving the fact that I'm wearing a hijab and that I'm different than everybody. So one of the big things is that yes, we do wear a hijab for modesty and protection and whatnot. But one of the big things that you don't think about and that I don't see a lot of people talk about is that when I see a woman wearing a hijab, I instantly think, oh, she's Muslim. As compared to if I see any other girl on the street who's probably not wearing a hijab, depending on, the scenario, I probably won't be able to judge her by her religion. But 99.9% of the time, if you see a hijabi, you know that she's Muslim. And what that really shows is it shows how proud you are of your religion. How proud you are that you are a servant of Allah. And you can look at this in two ways. One, you could look at a negativity, that there's absolutely nobody around me who wears it and I'm the only one and I'm standing out. Or two, you could look at it as an opportunity to think that, wow, out of this whole crowd, Allah chose me to be his servant. Allah chose me to be the one that wears the hijab. Out of all these people, out of the generations of people, out of all these people among my school, among my workplace, Allah chose me. Think about how special you are. Sometimes we like to think that when we're so different because we're Muslim and the way that we stand out, it's so hard to blend in, and I get that. But you were never meant to blend in. If you look at the prophets, peace be upon all of them, none of them really ever fit in. People always hated them. People always thought that they weren't doing what was right. They were always going against what was normal. And now when you look back at the prophets, we love them so much and we always wish such goodness upon them. Their legacy continued out because they did nothing except worship and stay on the path of Allah. I know that there's a lot of girls, especially in high school, that tend to struggle with wearing their hijab. And one of the big things I really always tell myself is that I'm in high school for 4 years, okay? After 4 years, I don't see myself talking to really anybody in this school. And I always tell myself that I'm like, why should I gain sin on my name for people that I'm not going to see literally even in a month after I graduate? And I always tell myself that it doesn't matter if you're on the bus and you see a random group of 20 people, you're not going to see those 20 people again. You're not. So why are you so scared to go on the bus and wear the hijab? Why are you so scared to go to school and wear the hijab for a few years among the people that you're not even going to see after that little set time frame? And I know a lot of people, they tend to think that, okay, after I get to college, that's when I'm going to start wearing my hijab. One of the biggest things I've learned is that you really can't wait. And I know people hate hearing that advice because it's like, we're always told that we can die any second, but I feel like we don't process it. I don't know. I just don't think that anyone should ever allow themselves to be in the face of death thinking that, oh, I'll just wear my hijab when I get to college so that way there won't be anybody that I know and I can have a fresh new start. And while that may sound easy, I need you to realize that every single time someone is seeing you, you're gaining a sin. Trust me when I say Allah knows how hard it is. He does. And a lot of times we like to think like, well, oh, Allah knows how hard it is. Like Allah knows that this is difficult, so he'll exempt me. But I need you to realize that Allah would have never made this obligated upon you unless he knew that it was good for you. I always see some people on social media downplaying how hard it is to wear the hijab. Like there's some girls who wear it and it's really easy for them, and alhamdulillah, may Allah, continue to bless them with ease. But then there's some people, especially men, and they like to say that, oh, wearing the hijab is not that hard. Shut up and put it on. You're doing it wrong, whatever. And while some people may view it as a drastic issue, some people may not view it as an issue at all, I need you to understand that the process of putting something, which even like some people, let's think about it. The hijab, it's a piece of fabric, but it's a piece of fabric that holds so much power. It holds power to identify you from crowds. It holds the power to identify that this person is a Muslim. Now you need to ask yourself, do you like that power? And a lot of times people are going to say no. And that's because of how society is. It's hard for a lot of people to, get into a good career, make lots of money, get skyrocketing businesses, whatever. Because people might judge them because they're a hijabi or they're Muslim. It becomes hard. I'm such a strong believer in the fact that when you walk on the path of Allah and you do every single thing you can, Allah will bless you with the rizq and the blessings and the goodness that you are deserving of. It might take some delay, but you need to realize that this society is not what you're here to please. You're here to please Allah. And when Allah has told you that, hey, wear this hijab, put this on, whatever, and it's hard for you, you need to see this as a growing experience and as a developing experience. Because Allah never tells you to do something unless it's good for you. And this is one big point I want to touch on. This is something you need to get in, like you need to soak it in. There is nothing Allah has obligated upon us unless it was good for us. I tell myself this all the time because what is Allah gonna gain from obligating bad things upon us? Nothing. Allah doesn't want to see us go to hell. He doesn't want to see you suffer. He made you a Muslim, and some of us were Muslim by birth. We'll be given this blessing, and it's like, don't overthrow it, don't overlook it. We have people that convert, and I've seen some converts being the most beautiful and on-point Muslims than some of us that are born Muslim. Even if you are born Muslim, you're going to have to go on that route of finding Islam yourself one day. So why are you delaying that day? The hijab is scary, I know, but it's even more scary going through punishment for not wearing it for a bunch of people who don't give a crap about you. There's a lot of girls that want to be famous, and I want to ask you, do you want to be famous in this earth or do you want to be famous in Jannah? Because there's a lot of people that are famous in Jannah for the good deeds that they do all alone that nobody sees. And I can promise you, being quote quote famous in Jannah is way better than being famous on earth. I mean, just look at the people that are famous on earth. They get cancelled every other week. People hate them. Some people just make up lies about them too. They can breathe and they'll get hated on, and this is my point. You can't please everybody. So why are you trying to? Perfection was made solely for Jannah and for Allah. You're not going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. No one is. And if you continuously try to be perfect, you will destroy yourself because you're trying to become something that Allah has put limits on that is not possible for us humans. Stop worrying so much about standing out. Stop worrying so much that you're going to be different. Stop worrying so much that, I didn't wear hijab 3 years in my high school and then now I'm just coming back randomly with it on. Who cares? We went through a whole freaking pandemic, dude. People change. It's been almost like a year or so that we've been in a pandemic. People change. Understand your character development and accept it. Understand that this is you. And if Allah has put the thought of wearing the hijab in your mind, then do it. Because all these years, if you've been feeling guilty and horrible, if you've been feeling all these negative feelings about not wearing it, that is Allah literally talking to you. So don't let the shaitan in you tell you that, oh my God, when you wear the hijab, you're not going to look good. That looks so weird. Girl, your forehead looks big. Take it off, because trust me, that happens. That happens to so many girls. Right when they wear the hijab, they're like, dang, I look bad. I'm taking this off. Don't think like that, because you're wearing something that Allah has told you. I've seen hijabis have the most nude on their face, no cap. So do this for yourself, not for anybody else. Ask yourself, when is the day that I'm going to prioritize me over everyone else? And the day that you do that, you will notice yourself not only gaining Allah's pleasure, but gaining happiness. Because happiness is a gift. It is something Allah gives us. And the first step is for us to walk on that path. Got a little sidetracked here, but again, if you're thinking about wearing the hijab, do it. It doesn't matter if you're in a state or in a place of the world where there's nobody else that's doing it. Allah has chosen you among millions. And if that isn't the best feeling in the world, then I don't know what is. Let's be honest, everybody nowadays looks so basic and it's so hard to tell people apart. But when you're wearing the hijab, you're standing out, everyone knows that this person is a Muslim. And a lot of people might have negative beliefs about Muslims, and that's okay. Because it's not your job to teach the ignorant that Islam's a great religion. Because when Allah decides it's ignorant people's time to learn, He'll teach them. Your job is to be the best Muslim you can be. Because there's actually a lot of pressure when you wear the hijab. Besides wearing it correctly, for some people, you're probably the only Muslim image they've ever seen in their life. I know I live in a state where Islam is not common, and so for people who see me, they're kind of seeing like a hijab, being a Muslim person for the first time. That's why it's so important that I always try to reflect Islam's beauty through myself, and you should do that too. Because it's not your job to argue about whether what's right or wrong, or argue with people about how great your religion is. Your job is to just be the best version of you. And with Allah's help, you can accomplish so many great things. And inshallah, I hope that this helped at least even one girl decide and consider even more to put on the hijab. On the day of judgment, you're going to thank yourself. Your future self is begging you. Do this for yourself.